and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. We welcome you all to this SIRDAP International Conference Center. As you know, today we are here for an international seminar on sustainable SME development in Bangladesh, organized by Bangladesh Bank, BIBM, SIRDAP and Midas UK. I request all the participants to kindly take their seats. So that we can continue our program.
Today's program is an outcome of our international cooperation. So long, we have communicated and interacted with a good number of international organizations like Bank Negara Malaysia, Malaysia SME Cooperation, APEC, AFI, SBBN, the TCI, SIDBI, NSIC, IMSME of India, World Cluster Association, Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Central Bank of Indonesia, donor agencies like JICA, ADB, IFC, UNIDO, CADF, and a lot of other organizations. In today's program, we are very glad to have two international speakers from UK and India, and the program will be chaired by Mr. George Abraham, Director, Midas UK. It is our pleasure that Honorable Governor, Bangladesh Bank, Dr. Atiur Rahman, is gracing the occasion as the chief guest. Among others, special guest Mr. Abul Kashem, Deputy Governor, Bangladesh Bank, Dr. Sisif Effendi, Director General SIRDAP, MDs of banks and non-bank financial institutions, distinguished moderators and discussants, and a good number of entrepreneurs and dignitaries are present in the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the permission of the chair, we are going to start the program now. First of all, I would like to request Mr. Hussain Shehbaz, Director SIRDAP, to recite from the Holy Quran with English verses.
Now, Dr. Sisif Effendi, Director General of SIRDAP, will come with welcome address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to you all. On behalf of SIRDAPs, Bangladesh Banks, BIBMs, and Midas UK, we welcome you all at the SIRDAP International Conference Centers for an international seminars on sustainable SMEs developments in Bangladesh today. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to extend my greetings to you all in this important event. Today we have with us Dr. Atiur Rahman, Honorable Governors of Bangladesh Banks, as our chief guest. I'm very happy to see that Bangladesh Bank Governor has already taken initiative in this regard by bringing the small farmers of Bangladesh in the mainstreaming banking channels through opening a bank account for them with nominal amounts, which is a landmark achievement toward promotion of financial inclusion. The governor has been trying to create a new trend in the banking sectors of the country with combination of new concept, technology, and human participations. Since SIRDAP is a networking organization and always emphasizes the importance of promotions of efficient systems in various enterprises, we believe we can do more to achieve our goal, improving the living standards of our poor farmers in the rural areas. We hope that these seminars will be one of the critical points that the beginning of our way to achieve our goals. With these few words, I once again thank for you to participate in these programs and hope we can get a lot of benefit for this very important conference. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Shukumal Sinha Chaudhary, SME Faculty Consultant, BIBM, is with us today. It is indeed to mention that Mr. Chaudhary took over the responsibility of newly created SME Department of Bangladesh Bank since its inception, and due to his able leadership, SME sector of the country has come to a remarkable position. Mr. Chaudhary also contributed in arranging today's seminar. Now, I request Mr. Chaudhary to come up with his introductory speech. Mr. Shukumal Sinha Chaudhary.
Today's Chair George Abraham, DG SEDAP, distinguished moderators and discussants, MD and CEOs of banks and NBFIs, BB officials, representatives from donor agencies and international organizations, SME heads, business leaders, SME entrepreneurs, participants, and media representatives. Good morning and warm greetings to you all. Our Honorable Governor is here. Many experts are here. We have two panels of expert moderators and discussants. Our today's presence is very encouraging. So, our today's program will be successful if we take some ideas from presentations, make some recommendations on the basis of discussions by panel experts, open floor discussions, and ultimately implement the recommendations by involvement of regulators and policymakers. I am confident that after the deliberation, the entrepreneurs and bankers will give a new look and thinking towards cluster and SME financing. For sustainable SME development, we have to work together. We have to go for communication, interaction, and collaboration. All the initiatives on SME, agriculture, green banking, and financial inclusion is being possible in Bangladesh due to support and direction of today's chief guest, Honorable Governor Dr. Atiur Rahman. Let us work together in the same way. Let us continue communication and interaction. We should not stop here. We must work with dedication and team spirit, proceed forward under leadership of our Honorable Governor. With these few words, I am inviting you to watch one small documentary from which our foreign friends will be able to get some idea about Bangladeshi enterprises. Finally, if any one of you desire to meet and discuss with any of the experts, you can do this after lunch break. They will be available in SEDAP up to 4 p.m. Inviting you all to the documentary, I am closing here. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, now there will be a presentation of documentary.
Endowed by the gems of nature, serene, subtle, subliminal. This is Bangladesh, the lush green delta with the setting like an orchid, glittered all around by the nature's soothing splashes of beauty. The vast rural outback and one of the world's industrious people, one of the two key attributes of its economy as the major driving force. In other words, the farm and the farmers constitute the artery of the economy's lifeblood. The much-awaited banking care and support from which they have been deprived all along has been made accessible by the country's central bank, the Bangladesh Bank.
Respected guests, Mr. Michael is the chairman of Commonwealth Environment and Investment Platform, a pan-Commonwealth network linking entrepreneurs and companies in the environmental sector. He is also an advisor of world-famous legal network. May I now request Mr. Michael to deliver his presentation, please.
I'll start again. Honourable Governor, Honourable Deputy Governor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honour to be among you today, and I applaud you for this event of great significance and great encouragement. I should mention to you that I have prepared in advance a paper which you will find in the pack provided to you, and I do not intend to read through that paper word for word, but I would commend it to you for a later study, and I believe the experts today have had advance notice of my paper so that they can consider the questions I pose and perhaps respond to some of those during the course of the next session. Now, I hope it's the case that somebody has a control for the screen and I will see the slides move. Good. If you could move on, and then we'll explain first of all a little bit and only briefly about the Commonwealth platform. The Commonwealth Environmental Investment Platform is an alliance between the Royal Commonwealth Society and the Forbury Investment Network, which is operated by my law firm Clark's Legal in the UK. And you can see on the screen the countries in which we have already established hubs to work on the objective of sharing environmental investment and opportunity between Commonwealth countries for the common good. One of the things I would particularly ask you to look carefully at in my paper is some of the observations about the value of the Commonwealth, which I could speak about for a very long time, but that would be unfair to you. What I would like to stress is that the Commonwealth is a wonderful platform to share business interest. It has a great deal of networking already available, and I particularly believe that we can encourage SME networking through Commonwealth channels. And it's certainly my objective to begin that process with Bangladesh. We were formed particularly to encourage low carbon economic growth through connecting entrepreneurs, investors, and sustainable businesses in environmental goods and services, which is one of the world's fastest growing sectors. And of course, the idea is to share sector and entrepreneurial knowledge, contacts and experience between Commonwealth markets. And so, in effect, what we have created is a network of hubs that serve their own local marketplace, but also connect with other Commonwealth countries for mutual interest. Thank you. So the objective, which I hope we might progress today, is to connect the stakeholders, the wider audience, if you like, of the Commonwealth, to achieve sustainable economic growth, while we also address the very urgent social, economic, and environmental issues which affect so many Commonwealth countries today. And we believe there is unique benefit out of this programme to entrepreneurs, investors, the SMEs, the universities, and the governments of the Commonwealth. Last year in 2013, the theme of the Commonwealth was opportunity through enterprise, and that is when we launched this new platform, showing how we believe opportunity comes to all through using enterprise, particularly for the good of the environment. Special Commonwealth advantages I refer you to are the legal frameworks, which are very much in common, the existing business, government, linguistic and cultural ties which have been developed over a very long time, which make the Commonwealth an ideal international forum. It is a very valuable business resource, as the gross domestic product of the Commonwealth now exceeds that of the Eurozone. And the demography of the Commonwealth is in its favour. It makes it very important to serve the future generations of the Commonwealth. And may I refer here also to the ecosystem of business. I believe that a lot of our discussion today is around the ecosystem, how business works to foster the SMEs, because they do not work in a vacuum. And so let us focus on the ecosystem. I refer in my paper to an OECD publication. You'll see from my paper that there are different definitions. There is no simple answer, and the concept is, in a sense, quite new. but I would say it is evolving. I think in Bangladesh today, and here I venture an opinion because others will know more than I, but you are familiar with the concept of clusters, but perhaps in an old sense of clusters of businesses who have much in common working in a particular location. I think, as I will demonstrate to you today, clusters are evolving quickly beyond that. And what I would perhaps invite you to consider today is how ambitious Bangladesh can be and should be to utilizing the cluster concept to change the game for Bangladesh in world markets. I want to share with you a number of success factors which determine whether a cluster is good or bad. The policies in the local situation have to fit and work to encourage the development of a cluster. Obviously, we have to have complementarity of the component businesses. Someone should be looking at that and helping to see and identify the ways in which the businesses will help one another and see that that happens. Encouraging the cooperation and synergies which make a world of difference to whether businesses will thrive and want to be in the cluster. The networking which is part of the process of sharing knowledge and realizing what can be done. And may I stress this, I expect all of you have the experience now of operating in the email world where communication by electronic means has become your normal way of life. You may love it or you may hate it, but it's there. It does not replace networking. I stress the need for face-to-face communication, discussion, collaboration, which, of course, a cluster would give. The role of the banks must be critical. I've described bankers here as agents of change, and I believe that. I believe if you have enough bankers wanting to do something, it will happen. Banks are very powerful, resourceful, capable, and if they wish to transform the economy, I believe they can. So in practice, the opportunity is here for the bankers to play a special role in the facilitation of the process of technical development. It does require an understanding to be enhanced of how technology will help in Bangladesh, and how the processes that I've been describing are best worked out here, and how engagement will be achieved in this context. But I would say the banks of Bangladesh will know all of that and will be able to facilitate that process. So I would say absolutely critical to the future of the technology clusters I'm describing. Resilience has to be addressed. I would say that Bangladeshi businesses probably have learned to be resilient. In practice, that is required for technology success. What is Bangladesh now best at in world markets, and what will it be best at in world markets? An evaluation is required in a sophisticated way of technology development so that you can see where existing best knowledge could be used to be competitive in a global marketplace, which you have available to you through the internet. And of course, specialist SME opportunities will emerge from that, because the SMEs will perhaps be able to identify why they have a special niche in a corner of a very big market. Okay. Sorry. I would say that direct foreign investment should be attracted by clusters. There's bound to be interest by publicizing success and showing investors what can be done in an economy which is so well resourced with people and ideas. You have to look at whether the SMEs are getting the support to internationalize I've mentioned, because they won't be able to do it on their own. They need a mechanism for doing it, but you can provide that. I, of course, know not only the current population of Bangladesh, but what it will be over the next 30 or 40 years on current predictions. You are going to have to find many million of new jobs over the next 20 or 30 years. We know that. So we have to develop new industries, new opportunities to match the jobs growth. That is clear. I therefore do not see this as optional. It is a necessity for the future generation. And I would ask the question, is cluster development a large part of the success story for SMEs in Bangladesh? I venture to suggest it must be a huge part of whether your SME programs will succeed. I thank you very much for the invitation today. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Michael Alfred Sipit, for a very detailed presentation. Respected guests and participants, we have now Mr. Aftabul Islam, President AmCham, as the discussion. I would like to request Mr. Aftabul Islam to take his seat on the dais, please. And now is the time for our expert opinion for the presentation. The session will be moderated by Professor Soyed Munir Khustu, Institute of Business Administration, University of Dhaka. The discussants are Mr. Ishtiaq Ahmed Chaudhry, MD and CEO, Trust Bank Limited, Mr. Muhammad Sabur Khan, former President, Dhaka Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Mr. Shah Muhammad Ahsan Habib, Professor and Director, BIBM, and Mr. Aftabul Islam, President, AmCham. I would like to request Professor Munir Khustu, sir, to moderate the session, please.
Respected Governor, Dr. Atiur Rahman,